Okay, everybody, let's take your seats. I know everybody looking forward to the excitement that this today is going to bring. So I'm going to shift it around a little bit. We're going to start from the bottom up.
You're a fun guy.
I know. I'd like to bring the fun. All right. Senate Bill 169.
Just you guys held it last time. I think you voted. I don't remember.
We did.
You did vote. Okay, I now have the sponsors, so that can go to the floor whenever you're ready.
Okay, so that's with the sponsor amendment. Everybody in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nay. One done. All right. 5:30, Cecil County. Got a letter?
We do have a letter.
Is there a problem?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Done. All right, 437. You got a letter?
We have a letter.
And-
There is an amendment.
Uh-oh.
The letter supports the amendment.
Okay, what's the amendment to?
The amendment's technical, it's just in current law.
All those in favor with the amendment? Opposed? Excellent. See, that's why I want to start at the bottom. All right. 430.
Senate Bill 430 is the Community Health and Safety Works Grant Program. The bill codifies the existing program. As introduced, the bill had a 10 million funding mandate for fiscal 26 through 28. You all passed a bill last year, which was like 98% identical to this, without the funding mandate included. So there is an amendment in your packet, which would strike the funding mandate.
All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, what about the bill? Yes, sir. Yes.
Things are moving a little fast here, so slow it down for a second here. So there's no.
You voted for this last year, you know.
No, not with a mandate.
No, we took the
Right.
mandate
I know
out.
that's what I'm getting back to, right?
We just took it
But
out.
there's also, correct me if I'm wrong, it was, when I was reading the fiscal note before, it added in, originally it was like a lot of like the whole refund of police and some like lights and cameras and all this like kind of police stuff. It added in like basically wraparound services, right? And so that's still in there. Long and short, the whole, it's about the money. And so it's not a mandate, right?
Correct.
All right, that's all I need to
Yeah,
know.
there's no funding
Forget
mandate
it.
with the amendment.
So what does the bill actually do then? If there's no funding,
Codifies the existing program
that is not funded.
and then establishes funds should there be any funding in the budget.
So we're gonna
Okay.
do several of these this year.
Okay.
And we did them a couple last year too,
Right.
but it's more the norm. I mean, look, if in fact, and look, I mean, this is a discussion that we can have, right? About where we're going. But from my perspective, if there are things that we believe in a policy and we believe that it should theoretically be done, even though that we know that there's not a lot of money around to do these new projects. What we are essentially doing is sending a message to the governor. It's basically just a message to the governor. We like this. We'd like you to spend up to X amount of money. And of course, the governor can do that or not do it. Matter of fact, they can put more money in if he really liked it. But it's a statement. And it's about what we think is important. Now, in the past, when we thought something was important, we would say it's so important, we're actually going to make a mandate. But I'm trying to set the example this year in particular, and you'll see it with a couple of my bills as they start rolling out here, that I had things that I would have liked to mandate. There's some stuff that, for instance, hospital grant money that you're going to see in a couple days. But I don't believe that we can afford it as a mandate because, as you know, the mandate affects the structural deficit, and that's the thing that we're really going to be working on over the next couple of years. So you can put in mandates too. I'm not going to say you can't, but it's not going to. I'm not going to be too favorable about them in general. And if you still want to reflect a policy and a value, now that's a different story, and that'll be for the committee to decide. Senator.
I have a question. It's a technical question, but I should know the answer to.
Mhm.
This, I think, is a good example. This is a grant program. So in the app, it's not now in statute.
No, not currently in statute, because the bill last year just
So,
passed to
so
get to the House.
if it's not in statute, could the governor have done anyway?
Yes.
So the governor can create any program he wants to, even if it's not in statute? Is that the way to think about it, or am I missing something?
I mean, within other legal confines, yeah.
Yeah, he's got broad powers.
Broad powers to set up a program. That's really what I'm asking.
Yes, right.
Gotcha. And so that's your point about by us doing it, we're sending a message.
That's correct.
Gotcha. That was my question. Thank
Yep.
you. I should like to.
Okay, all those in favor of this bill as amended?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah.
Unanimous?
I wanted to know.
If you'd like to. Anybody like to be a sponsor, raise your hand.
Sure.
Looks like everybody but the two gentlemen. Oh, yes.
So,
All right, looks like everybody who's in the room is on. All right. Very good. All right. 414. Oh my. Sponsor.
Move unfavorable.
Sponsor.
All in favor of the sponsor.
All
Senate Bill 414, you do have a reprint on your desk. It's pretty minor. What this does is it creates a mandate for $200,000 from fiscal 26 through 28. That money would go to the Maryland Council on Economic Education to then do financial literacy being provided. What the amendment does is on page 2 right now, one of the uses of this money is to provide resources and professional development. The bill states to public and non-public school teachers to improve it. This amendment would narrow the non-public school teachers to just the non-public special education school teachers. So I think you guys call them MANSEF schools. So that's the bill.
And the amendment was within what you just said.
Correct. Correct.
People like this policy? That's, I guess, the first question. Look, so what we all know, I think you all know, is that any policy committee, whenever there's a cost of more than $250,000, it comes back through for discussion with the staff here and myself. And so this is below that. And I particularly like the concept personally. So I'm fine with this one being a mandate at this level. Yes. Sure. What's that? Yeah, well, let me just say this, be very clear. If it is over $250,000, it is pretty unlikely that I'll be personally interested in it as a mandate.
Yeah.
I think we're going to do a few this year, by the way, that are bigger, because I think there are a couple of things out there that I've seen already that we probably should be doing because they're a continuation of bigger programs and things like that. So we're going to have to do that. But I mean, just so you get some flavor for this, you know, even before there was the bigger money over the last couple of years, we would do maybe $100 million in mandates in a year pretty regularly. Now, I actually think the mandates, which have been maligned by some quarters, are a great thing because they have the ability of not only expressing the legislature's will, but also setting up a way for whoever's receiving it, whether it's nonprofit organization or part of government in some way, that they can guarantee. It is no guarantee because every year the governor, even with a mandate, could pull money out, but it is a way of establishing some level of certainty for a program. And I think there's a lot of value in that. We have a lot of mandates. Matter of fact, there's 600 of them right now that have been put in by the legislature over many, many years. And there's a lot of value in them. And if you look through the list, you'll see there's a lot of good stuff. The bulk of it is education, both K through 12 and higher ed. And then there's another sizable amount of transportation. And then there's a lot of them that are smaller level of various different things, but the bulk of it is education. Anyhow, just context for at least how I'm thinking about all this as we move forward. Senator Zucker.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I know everyone was, it was very busy afternoon with hearings, but the young lady that spoke at the panel, who was a beneficiary of this financial literacy, the panel was just very grateful, in particular this committee, because last year through our work, we were able to appropriate $200,000 for this program, and more than 220,000 students statewide were able to be served. So this just keeps it going level funded for a couple of years just to see how it's going, but certainly appreciate the committee's consideration.
Opposed? Yeah, who wants to be on? Anybody want to be on? Okay. Looks like everybody.
Everybody who's here.
Everybody's here. Senator Benson?
Yeah.
Senator Benson, you want to be on this bill? Okay. 369.
Okay. Reach to the bottom of my pile. Senate Bill 369 has to do with any property owners that fall under one of the property exemptions that are in law. For real property, that amounts to about 20 different exemptions that exist in current law. So what this bill is doing is saying that if you are exempt, that those entities need to report to SDAT on any rental income associated with the property. It requires them to do this within 30 days of executing a lease. And this would only apply to leases that are longer than 1 year.
Senator Halvin, where did this come from? Oh, this wasn't yours. Wow.
Mhm.
It is yours. Oh, so it wasn't a departmental, sorry. Yeah, right. Yeah. Talk about it.
Makes a ton of sense and is good tax policy.
This can be read to only be. Because it's not clear on whether people who currently have leases to do it.
So it was just pointed out to me that there might be a little confusion about whether it's just for new leases or they don't have to go back, and everybody who might have one. Do you happen to know, or do you have any conversation about that?
I can double check, but I think that's a good question. I don't want to answer that.
Okay, we'll
until
just
I
hold
double
this for
check.
now. No, not a big deal. So we'll hold that. Yes, Senator?
How would like folks that currently are doing it know that they have to report would be the question.
So in theory, the department would have to, well, first of all, the bill does require the department to create a form to do the report. So I suppose it would be in their purview, responsibility to, send out notices to everyone on their tax rolls. They have a list of everyone who's exempt and say, here's a new law that passed and what you need to do.
I would assume that too, that hopefully the agency would do something like that. Do we add that in there?
We
just to
could.
make Sure that, okay.
I like that. We'll think about how we word that. I think let's get with the sponsor and SDAT and see if there's some ways we can make some improvements there in clarity. Senator Corbin?
We had something I thought last year in the same arena, so to speak. So like, the property owner is the nonprofit per se, right? And you're talking about income that they're bringing in, but are we talking about something like if they rent out like their hall or something like that? So like if a church rents out their facility to some other outside organization, that counts as income. But I think didn't we have something about that before?
There was a bill last year.
Okay,
But this is applying to only leases that last longer than a year.
yeah, so.
So
the
all of
cell
that kind
phones,
of
land leases, and stuff like that.
rental, like wedding halls and things like that would not be covered by this. That
Okay,
was
so
the bill.
that ended up going
last
through
year.
both sides last year, so that's, or no, we don't know.
I don't believe it's so,
Okay, all right,
I'd have
but it
to-
doesn't matter.
but
for
I'd
this
have to
bill.
check.
That-
Don't take
that's
my
fine.
word for it.
This is just for long.
But that was
term.
my initial question too, because I recalled that as well.
I mean,
This is different.
Okay,
Yeah, that was about people keeping tax exempt status, as I recall.
mhm,
And the ability, and if in fact they were really just
right,
using it as a commercial operation,
Right.
as opposed to they happen to be tax exempt, and now they're trying to make it commercial to get the break.
so for what the bill said, basically the cell phone towers and land leases, are those basically the only examples that we're really thinking about here? I mean, I don't know what else there could or couldn't be, but that's
Those-
all it's mentioned in the bill.
Those
so.
are the ones that were given to me.
Okay, that's fair, thank you.
Senator McCray?
There was a bill last year, and I know you guys are cognizant of it, that where it was targeting like religious institutions.
Uh-huh.
And what happens is, like with the archdiocese, they have not the congregations on as many, they're figuring out different uses of these buildings, and we have a number of our schools in these spaces. So I just wanted to make sure that, like, I don't think reporting impacts it, but like that isn't like the target audience here, is it?
No, but I don't think do you also have schools that have cell towers on them that are getting income from them? You, on the property? We can look into that.
No, so that was a good discussion. It was good. There's some stuff to look into. Okay. 342.
So 342, this one is back for you for the second time. You all ended in a discussion of comparing the renters versus the homeowners tax credits and how income is used. So just to be clear, under this bill, so the two programs, I don't know how much you want to get into this. The two programs use two different. Okay, sorry. Each program has a definition for assets and a definition for gross income. Under this bill, it would bring the definition for assets to be equal to each other. The homeowner's definition and the renter's definition of gross income will remain. There's no amendment to make those equal as well.
Good? Yep, good. Yes, sir.
What's the practical impact of this and what's the fiscal impact of this?
So for the renters, the practical impact of this is that it would bring more people potentially into eligibility. The fiscal note is based on data from SCAT on reasons why under current law applications have been denied and whether this would have brought them in or not. So based on that, there's only a couple that were denied that's actually in here. So okay, so far in 2023, only 3 renters have been denied because of this aspect of it. So that's why the fiscal impact is extended.
Marginal.
Except to the extent that this brings more people who maybe haven't applied, right? They're only basing it on actual applications. But if this brings more people to apply for it, it could be more than marginal.
All right, thank you.
Okay. As amended, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. 321.
Okay. I've got my piles all out of order.
I tricked you.
All right, Senate Bill 321. This is purely authorizing for the locals, the counties or the municipalities to establish a property tax credit for property that is used for a hotel or residential development project basically there is an existing law program like this in Wacomico County. This would make it statewide. And this one, however, does include a provision that if through that redevelopment, if there are more than 20 residential units in the property, then at least 15 of those units have to be for affordable housing. For people earning less than 80% of the area median income. All details about it in terms of the amount of the tax credit, the duration, any other eligibility, all of that is left up to the local governing bodies.
Questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. Senate Bill 14.
All right, so number 14, you all do have a reprint on your desk here. This would establish a new program for municipalities, and some of the amendments make sure that that's clear that it's just municipalities, not counties, to designate tourism zones and then to provide preferential tax treatment for entities in the tourism zones. It would be local exemption, right, authorizing from the local A&A tax, as well as to property tax credits. Again, all the details left up to the locals to establish everything about them. So the exemption just kind of, I don't know if the sponsor wants to speak to the exemptions, but just some clarifying aspects. One, making clear that it's only for municipalities and not counties, and then just some additional information about any date that the tourism zone would expire would flow through for the tax exemptions.
Again, authorizing for municipalities. Questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. Oh, sorry. Yes, sir.
Secondly, I think, if I might, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
there was some concern by some of the local members of MML regarding the amusement tax. Erica, am I right about that? So I think, I know, and
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't spoken to them. They haven't spoken to me about it. I just know your chief of staff raised it as an issue.
yeah, there was an issue regarding the amusement tax and I'm not sure. I know when you look at the legislation, it talks about the emissions and amusement tax. I don't really see an issue with that because it's enabling legislation. So I guess I'm ready to pass the bill and
Did
dig
you
in
want to hear
more
from
and-
somebody who might be in the room?
sure. Do we have someone in the room? Thank you. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Senator Jackson. There was some concern from a jurisdiction that establishes or uses A&A tax specifically on gaming entertainment, which is a defined statute within the code related to electronic bingo in Anne Arundel and Calvert County. So very niche issue. They were hoping to not have the authority in this case because they were concerned about some big money entities within their jurisdiction. So there's a small amendment option there that I believe is with Senator Jackson's office, but I could provide to committee staff at some point as well.
Is that not?
Should you like to entertain it?
It's the one that's before you now about clarifying with the county and should they just federally
Ah.
breaking information.
Did you want to?
Mr. Chairman, so while I believe I understand the concern, my concern is that it's just I think it's the start of too many exemptions from an opportunity that these jurisdictions are being given. So what was mentioned was two jurisdictions, Calvert and Anne Arundel, but we have Baltimore City, we have Ocean City, we have other places, and I think it's an enabling piece of legislation. It's an opportunity for folks, and unless I'm seeing something different, I will work with them. But I think it's a terrific opportunity for the municipalities.
So, did you think that somehow this took away I mean, the money that's generated from those taxes are gonna go, actually, part of that whole POCA section in the code. Did you think somehow that it was taking that, it would just theoretically take away from the component part that went directly to that jurisdiction?
The bill would, as I understand it, establish a local jurisdiction's ability to exclude any type of business they define as tourism from A&A tax should they wish. So it's just enabling a local jurisdiction to do it. The amendment that was suggested was to essentially not provide them that authority by excluding gaming specifically from what they could exempt.
And I agree with the senator. I believe with regard to what is happening in a municipality. But this isn't an area we don't want to get wrong. For those revenues that are coming out of those two jurisdictions.
I'm
there's
with
some
you on that.
specific funds. We can take a minute to look at it. You got a
Yeah.
question, that's great, but I think I want to just hold until
I'm
we
good.
get that part of the question done.
Okay, I'm good.
Question,
Question,
yes?
I'm trying to keep up here. So the bill applies to municipalities and to counties?
No, just
It's just
municipalities.
municipalities.
Yeah.
Just municipalities.
So help me understand, when you said Anne Arundel, it got my attention.
Yeah.
So, Senator Alpha can correct me if I'm wrong. I think Anne Arundel only has one municipality, right? What's the second one?
That would be.
Highland?
Highland Beach.
Highland Beach, yeah, Highland Beach. Okay, so there are only two municipalities in Anne Arundel County.
Correct.
And you say that Anne Arundel County wants their municipalities to be exempted from this bill?
It's actually a member within Calvert County. There are two counties listed specifically in the Arts and Entertainment District section of emissions and amusement tax exemptions for the purposes of gaming entertainment. So that's just one definition, one reason that you could exclude or you could apply emissions and amusement. It only applies in those two counties for some reason. That's why the law was written. I think they're looking at a couple of electronic bingo establishments in particular. I'm not aware of the Anne Arundel County facility falling within a municipality. So this really only applies to the municipalities in Calvert County.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I really, I think the senator got this right and it's fine, but I just want to make sure that we're not mucking with something. That whole area, there's a whole list of entities that get money from these revenues from the bingo in those two counties. I'm not even sure that those bingo operations are even in any municipalities in those two counties, but let's just get it right. Just nothing to hold it for a day. Senate.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And again, my job, and I think all of our jobs, I don't speak for anybody else but me, is not to cause harm as we're trying to do something here. I just haven't, me looking at that, I didn't see that because we're talking about municipalities across the state.
Yep.
So if it is, then we will ask for the amendment and do what we need to do. So thank you. Appreciate that.
You bet.